Hello, I'm Jared Fry, General Manager of Medina TV, and I am joined today in studio by our guest. I have Bethany Dentler, the Executive Director of the Medina County Economic Development Corporation, and Kimberly Marshall, the Economic Development Director for the City of Medina. Welcome to you both, and we're here today to discuss a great event that happens every year here in Medina now, and that is the Made in Medina County Expo. Why don't we first start off and kind of explain to the viewers what the Expo is all about?
All right, well, thank you so much, Jared, for having us today, and it's always great to talk a little bit about what we are doing. This is another great collaboration throughout Medina County, coming together to celebrate National Manufacturing Month by hosting our Made in Medina County Manufacturing Expo, which will be taking place on Friday, October 4th, so please, everybody, mark your calendars. It will be held at the Medina County Community Center, which is held at the fairgrounds located in the city of Medina. A team of partners throughout the county collaborate on this. We've been spending all year planning. We work with all three cities, all three chambers, Medina County Economic Development, the Medina County Leadership Program, as well as all of our school districts throughout the county, as well as our career centers, Medina County Career Centers, and the Four Cities Compact. The original inauguration of Medina County, Made in Medina County, started in 2015 and has continued every other year, so this will be our third event. Basically, our mission is to raise awareness about the importance of manufacturing to our economy, to raise that importance with our businesses, our students, our residents, our teachers, so that they understand the economic impact to our economy for manufacturing, but then also to educate the students on the career opportunities that are available that they may not otherwise know about. So we also are working with our commissioners, are going to proclaim October 4th as Made in Medina County Day, and we are also expecting that same celebration from the city of Medina, as well as Brunswick, Wadsworth, and Seville. I think you talked to Seville, right?
Yep, we'll get them on board.
Yeah. So as probably you are aware, but maybe not all of our audience, our viewers, manufacturing is one of our county's most significant industries, and by working together with other communities throughout the county, we're able to showcase what a tremendous impact this industry sector has on the economy. And the other thing that I think is really cool is you may not know what's being made in your own backyard, right? So it's kind of like, hey, did you know that McJack Candy makes gourmet lollipops, and Sandridge Food Corporation makes fresh salads and fresh soups? Just to give as an example of a couple here in the city, but most people don't realize what's actually being made here in their own backyard, and so we try to highlight them. Highlight the companies, and that way they can display and show the products that they're making.
And that's a great point. You talk about the companies and the interesting things that are made here in Medina. So I guess that brings you to the next point. Who are the people that can attend this event?
Well, it's actually open to the public. Well, a segment of the event is open to the public. So we'll actually begin at 8 o'clock with breakfast, and those who buy a ticket can come hear a keynote presentation at 9:30 a.m. by John Ratzenberger, and that is sponsored by Westfield Insurance. And then for that keynote, obviously, we've got folks from the business community that want to come out, manufacturers who want to hear his message, but we're also partnering very closely with the school system. So they're planning to send out 500 students, not from every school system in the county, and we're encouraging parents to join them as well. If they have a student still in the school system, or even someone who has recently graduated but still exploring career options, it's a great opportunity for them to understand what opportunities there are in manufacturing and explore their career horizons. So we actually expect to attract about 1,500 visitors to the event. So once the keynote presentation is over, then from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. it will be open to the general public, and that is absolutely free of charge. And so they'll get to encounter we're hoping 75 different manufacturing vendors who are set up with a display showing here's what they make in their own backyard, and a number of interactive displays will be there as well.
Okay. Yeah, you did a great job of covering a lot there, and in a little bit of time, I'll back up a little bit on you. First, I guess talk a little bit about, for those people that will be attending, your keynote speaker. Why don't you focus a little bit on who that is this year?
Sure. So John Ratzenberger is an Emmy-nominated actor, director, writer, producer, and longtime manufacturing advocate. He's actually best known, probably, maybe to our generation, for his role on Cheers, as well as to younger generations for his voice work with Pixar. I think he's been in a voice in every Pixar movie made. So it
Note
might
the
be,
Toy Story movies, right?
Exactly. So it might be kind of fun to come in and pick those voices out. But what most people may not know is that John created the Travel Channel show Made in America, which highlighted manufacturing throughout the country. And in his keynote, he will discuss the importance of American manufacturing and how we can continue to advance it. He actually serves on the President's Task Force for Apprenticeship Expansion. So we're looking for his address to further the notion of manufacturing's importance, as well as emphasizing the importance of growing the labor pool with fresh young minds.
So for those folks that want to see him, John, or Cliff, as I like to call him, want to see him there, how can they sign up to attend?
So for those that would like to attend, they can go to our website, which is www.madeinmedinacounty.com, and tickets are $40 for the keynote presentation, which also includes the breakfast. And then the expo, after the keynote is done, then the expo will open to the public at no cost, starting at 11 a.m.
And that's great. And like you discussed earlier, Kimberly, you mentioned this is your third year of doing it, or not in successive years, like you said, to go between, but the third time doing this. So kind of talk about a little bit of what's happened from the past 3 years and what it's led to here today.
So Bethany and I submitted this in 2015 to the Ohio Economic Development Association, which is an organization that we belong to for our profession. And we spoke about it at the conference, and they adopted this as a best practice. So others, maybe throughout the state of Ohio, could look at this as an example of how they can sort of do the same thing that we're doing, highlighting manufacturing, but then also it has been recognized as a workforce development tool to engage those students, to show them that there are other opportunities. You know, Bethany was talking about John Ratzenberger serving on the President's Apprenticeship Council. Well, apprenticeship programs are really like the other four-year degrees, so maybe not every student is designed to go to college, but maybe they can go through a trades program or apprenticeship program and get that kind of degree and still be just as successful and in landing a great job. So what else have we done? Surveys conducted after the expo revealed that the manufacturing exhibitors have hired dozens and dozens of people. So even though this is not really coined as a job fair, we're not really promoting it as a job fair. I mean, let's face it, the public are coming in, and they could be casually looking for an opportunity. Each company that has job openings, we will have a little sign on their table that states, hey, we are hiring, and so they can, inquire about those positions and maybe learn about an opportunity that's right in their own backyard. That's another one of the efforts that we're working on is, hey, you live here in Medina County, but maybe you're driving to Cleveland, you're driving to Akron. Maybe you don't need to drive to Cleveland or Akron. Maybe you can find that great next opportunity right here in your own backyard. So not only are we building the awareness about the what's being made here, but also what kind of jobs and careers are here as well.
And try to promote working local as much as we can.
Yeah, and it was great to see the students, and in past years, I know we've covered it, whether it's students or people coming in from the public, with the businesses having those signs there. I saw students producing resumes and things like that on the spot and trying to turn those in, and as well as a conversation with the public as they came in with those companies that were looking to fill employment.
I think it's a great point too. Our students are phenomenal, right? So a lot of them spend a lot of time preparing for this event and for this day, and they will show up with resumes, in hand and be prepared to speak to the employers about, hey, what is it that you're doing? What kind of career opportunities do you have? So some students have gotten hired right on the spot and are still working in those companies. And so again, like we always promote in sort of our testimonials, could you imagine if you're a parent and you send your kid to a field trip and they come home with a good paying job? And
exactly.
Those are things that have really happened, and so we try to keep continuing to highlight those opportunities.
And it's not even a benefit for those people getting employed, but also for the manufacturers. Why don't you touch on that a little bit for us?
Yes, and we are hoping to have at least 70 companies. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but 70 companies exhibiting, and then of course we have the resource room, and I think Bethany already mentioned the 1,500.
And a lot of our companies get very creative with their booths. I think the last time we had folks from Vexor showing up in a trash can. Other companies had 3D imaging that they could play with, and we had other companies where you could create your own badge and using technology. So some really interesting opportunities to not only see examples of what they do, but to participate in a hands-on way.
Yeah, and it's a great experience with all those vendors and businesses there to walk through and take in everything. Now this of course just doesn't come off easily. It takes a lot of leadership and help with that. So why don't you guys take a moment to kind of discuss what goes into that?
Well, one of our early partners as we were putting this together, I think back in, 2015 was our first year, Leadership Medina County came together with us, and so they bring their entire signature class to the event, and which is really special. And they have actually incorporated the morning of this event into their business and industry day. And so what we've done for them is we give the class an opportunity to visit each of the manufacturing exhibitors during the breakfast portion. And they actually judge the booths in 3 different categories. So our vendors come in the day before to set up, and the leadership class can visit those booths. And they're awarding categories that include the most creative booth, the most innovative technology, and the best hidden gem. And so the award winners are announced immediately after the keynote presentation. So those awards sit proudly on those booths throughout the remainder of the expo.
Oh, very nice. And then also it's not only just the booths, but there's plenty of demonstrations going on as well. So why don't you tell us some of the great demonstrations that'll happen this year?
So we do try to keep it a little bit hands-on and some interactive displays. And so part of our partners this year, we're partnering with the University of Akron, showcasing polymer sciences, 3D printing, and their engineering, like STEM engineering opportunities. Stark State College will be bringing in a virtual welding unit, which is a lot of fun, and it's not really my forte, but Bethany did really good on it.
It's gotta be. If this economic development thing doesn't work out,
You got a future in welding. Yeah.
And we always talk about like manufacturing and the in-demand jobs, and welding is one of them. So this will help highlight that importance there. The Medina County Career Center highlights their Skill Boss program, and the Lorain County Community College is bringing the Fab Cab to engage attendees with hands-on maker type space activities. We also are featuring the Tri-C, Cuyahoga Community College mobile training unit for the day, which is a tractor trailer sized facility where they can hold classes. And that'll be set up just outside of the community center. We encourage every visitor to take a tour of the training unit, which includes, like I said, the classroom. It can accommodate about a dozen students, and flexible lab space in the back of the trailer. They also are providing access to a virtual CNC machine, so visitors can see firsthand the kind of 21st century technology, machinery, equipment that's being used in manufacturing. And what else?
I think too, you talk about the manufacturing and all those demonstrations. It's again back to the students, the involvement that the students get to take part in. Why don't you touch a little bit on about the student experience? What is the student going to experience during this?
Well, we've had some great sponsors who've stepped up to the plate. So each student will get a string backpack and a T-shirt and a passport. So when they come into the expo. This will encourage them to visit with as many manufacturing booths as possible. So the booths will have a stamp to indicate that the student has been there. A lot of the teachers of the students are preparing them ahead of time with interview questions, and have asked them to go and talk to the employers, engage with them, and find out what it's all about, what it's like to work at those companies, how they got those jobs, and what it would take for them as a startup employee to succeed, and what do those career paths look like. So we're really hoping to engage the students and the manufacturers in conversation. Obviously, college is an important step, but it may not be for everyone. But there's opportunities for students coming right out of high school to get great paying jobs, and a lot of those companies will provide training and certification programs, or pay for them to go through an apprenticeship, or even pay for college classes and supervisory classes and things like that. But the expo is really designed to give an opportunity to help students see why working in manufacturing may be quite different and more exciting than they could really imagine.
Right, and like you said, I think a lot of them may not even picture that as their career path, but then they get in there and have those conversations and may realize that that is the direction for them, or turn them on to something they didn't realize was out there, and really kind of ignite that fire for them to want to go out in the workforce.
It's about opening their eyes to possibilities.
Absolutely.
Well, and they get to see the keynote speaker too.
And John Ratzenberger, yes.
Well, and it doesn't just end there, because then after that you do the award winners, and then there's another showcase to follow right behind that. So why don't we touch on that next?
We're actually very excited this year to be working with the high schools and the middle schools. I think we have about 12 different robotics programs that are coming in to showcase the robotics that they make. And at first we were thinking it was going to be a competition, but we were told that, hey, the robots really can't fight because it's expensive and it's kind of violent, so they crossed that out. So then we said, well, what about if, and Kathy said, no, we can't do that either. And Bethany and I were like, darn.
No drones.
No drones. But really, once the keynote speaker is done, then we'll clear that room out, and then we'll set up the room for the robotics students to come in, and then they are going to build their pieces that they put together in school, and then they're going to showcase those and basically demonstrate how they maneuver and how they operate. So we are again, it's another way for the students and the companies to interact with each other, for the public to come out and see all of the great stuff that our classes are doing. So we are very, very excited about that. We've got
Well, we've got 12.
Just about every school, I think, is participating.
We've got almost every school district. We've got 12 different robotics and STEM programs, not just from our high schools, but from our middle schools as well. So this is the kind of thing where engagement starts young, and if you can get them interested in these kinds of things when they're young, then they'll continue wanting to work with their hands and figuring out how it's made and why it works as they get older, and hopefully be attracted to some of these professions. So, our idea is by giving the students an opportunity to showcase what they're doing, it will bring proud parents and grandparents out and help to open their eyes up about some new opportunities that maybe they haven't thought about before.
And you guys will be in for a treat, because I've had a couple school board meetings where they presented the robotics team and some of the things they've done. There's some really interesting, from the middle school levels on up, some very interesting things that they've come up with, and the ingenuity is something I'm sure businesses are very interested as well.
Absolutely.
So it'll be a great match and a great event to watch that day, and something very eventful, and then people can go after watching that and check out all the marvelous exhibits. And of course, these exhibits, all this great stuff doesn't happen without help of sponsors. So I'll give you a second to throw the thanks out for all your sponsors.
Exactly. We couldn't do this without significant support from our corporate sponsors. We have Westfield as the keynote sponsor for our keynote speaker. We have Tri-C as our lunch sponsor. Other major sponsors include Proximity Marketing and Plastipack, which provided water, so that's always welcome. And we have about a dozen other sponsors who are providing t-shirts and spring backpacks. All of our sponsors, and there are a number of others, are listed at www.madeinmedinacounty.com. So we would encourage folks to go there and register for the event, sign up for a ticket, and see lists of all of the companies that have registered so far. And if you're looking for a job, you might want to target a company to meet with. It's sort of a non-threatening setting, opportunity to get to know those companies.
Yeah, and it's a great event. And I guess to go in, you've already touched on a little bit as we've been talking here, but why do you feel that this is such an important event, and why it's so important to have an expo like this in Medina?
Well, why are we investing so much in this? So this is the industry unlike any other industry. It has a significant multiplier effect on our community. So for every one new manufacturing job that is created, 3 other new jobs are added to the economy. In Medina County, manufacturing is the industry which provides the most wages, totaling $450 million of annual payroll in our county alone. The expo is our way of acknowledging the impact of manufacturing and in the county, and helping local industry gain recognition and access to current and future workforce generations.
And now that you guys are in your 3rd year of this, I think from both sides, I think what's kind of been the feedback you get from, we'll start first, what's the feedback you get from the student side over these past 3, with this being the 3rd event?
Oh, the students have enjoyed it very much. I think it gives them an opportunity to apply what they're learning in a real world setting, so they can see, hey, what I'm learning in the classroom, these formulas, they actually mean something in the real world. And so I think they appreciate that very much, particularly students from our Career Center and the 4 Cities Compact, which includes Wadsworth and 3 other communities. We had a great turnout from partners in Summit County last year as well. And the students have a lot of pride in what they're doing and what they're learning. And so having that opportunity to connect with future employers, I think, is a huge step for them.
And then on the other side, what have you heard from the manufacturers now after doing it 2 times and heading into the 3rd?
Our manufacturing companies that participate absolutely love this, and they also appreciate the fact that we do it every other year, because not only is it a big undertaking for our steering committee, but it's also a big commitment on the company's part, because it's basically a whole day out of their office too for their staff that are attending the expo and manning the booth and all of that. So I think that they appreciate the efforts that we're making to highlight the manufacturing, but being respectful, balancing it with being respectful of their time. I think the community in general, I was recently asked to speak to a couple of the Kiwanis groups, and some of the folks that attended that said, Kimberly, this is just amazing what you guys are doing. Like, we tried to do this in the 70s and couldn't pull it off, like all that collaboration and getting all the companies together. I mean, when you really think about how many people it takes for us to partner across the county, and then all the companies and all the students, I mean, that is just, it's mind-boggling sometimes if you really sit back and look at it. So there's been some of those kind of accolades from the community organizations that see what we're doing and realize that this is really providing a value and a venue that's been a gap, I think, for quite some time. So. Yeah.
And it's been a great event, and every year you guys have improved on it, and excited to see what this 3rd year will bring of doing this. But once again, just for people that just might be tuning in a little bit later, why don't we recap our date of the event and times and everything like that for them?
Sure. Friday, October 4th.
Friday, October 4th, which is National Manufacturing Day.
And the Career Center, I keep thinking of the students, Medina County Community Center at the Medina County Fairgrounds, and it's from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. with the expo being open to the public for free at 11 a.m.
And then those that want to get more information, the website?
www.madeInMedinaCounty.com. And if you're interested in attending the breakfast and the keynote speech, the tickets are $40, and you can register on the website.
So that's the place to go. Visit the website and make sure you mark it on your calendar and get out here to. It's a great event to take in. And there's even sometimes food samples. There's the demonstrations. You get your hands on a lot of stuff out there, as well as meeting a lot of the great businesses that we have here in the county. So it's a tremendous event, and you guys do a great job putting that together. Anything else I missed you guys want to add?
Just sign up and come on out.
There you go.
Yeah, we want to see you there.
Excellent. Yeah, well, we want to see all the residents of Medina come out and make it there. We look forward to seeing you there on October 4th. And make sure you check out the website for more information. For Kimberly and Bethany, have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.